Well guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. I'm finally back out with the camera. Now I'm back home in the UK. I left Canada a couple of weeks ago, but the first 2 weeks that I've been back in the UK, all it's done is rain, believe me. We've tried a couple of times. I'm out with Paul Thompson today and I'm out with Adrian. We've tried a couple of times in that 2 week to get out, but it just tipped it down and it just never stopped raining. Now I have been trying to put videos together before I came back to the UK, back home in Canada, but it just didn't happen. We got a lot of snow, but the location we went to, it just didn't help with the location. It actually made it look quite chaotic and busy. So I have been trying to put videos together, but every time I've been going out, I've just been coming back empty-handed. It is my last week here. We've had a slight dusting of snow. It's bitterly cold, but it's dry, so that's absolutely brilliant. Now we're down here in the Bodderdale Valley this morning. It's a great location. There's plenty of options for shots in this area, so that's why I wanted to give it a bit of an explore. Now Paul and Adrian have made their way up to the waterfall there to my left hand side. Now because the light was coming up, the light was right on the waterfall. We didn't quite make it out for sunrise because the roads were that bad. They were quite treacherous, icy and slippy. But we made it here, we're finally here. And I wanted to check out these yew trees. There's 3 or 4 yew trees in this area and I wanted to check them out first. Now today is my first time out trying my new camera. I have upgraded my camera. I've got the Sony A7R4 now, so I'm looking forward to getting to grips with that and just explore and enjoy what the Bodderdale Valley has to offer today. So the first image that I've came across, there's part of this old yew tree I think that's fallen and it's upturned, but you've got some really nice details in there, and the fact that it's damp, you've got some nice light and darks, and there's some detail coming up from the left hand side over to the right corner, and you've just got some interest, just some different patterns in the centre. So I can go through a series of aspect ratios and get an idea of the crop that I'm going to use when I get back to post. Now I've got this on a square crop, it looks really nice, so that's a great feature about this camera that I'm looking forward to use more of in 2023. So 280mm, I'm going to take this as f16. That's going to get everything nice and sharp. I might have to take 2 shots because it does lead in from the top left corner. It gets a bit deeper, so I want to make sure that I get everything nice and sharp. The branch that I'm photographing is kind of leaning over from above, so what I've done is I've positioned the camera in a way where I'm slightly looking up because I want to flatten out the scene as much as I can, because I don't want to be stacking too many images. 0.6 of a second, f16, ISO 250. So I'm going to get back, get this shot, and I hope you like it. So I hope you enjoyed that first image. Nice to get an image in the bag to start the day, and hopefully we'll get a couple more as well. Now I've been searching around this area and I came across the main tree, which I think is the main tree. And the reason I say that is because it's revealing more of its trunk than the others. It doesn't quite look as tired. It's just going to be a really simple shot. I don't want no distractions in it. I don't want no knots or any untidy areas, because when you're looking close you've got some lovely calm wavy patterns there. Now what I've done is I've leveled off the camera as good as I can, to make sure the subject, the side of this trunk that I'm photographing, is nice and flat, and then I don't have to worry about focus stacking. I can simply just get it in one shot. So I'm going to go for the square crop again. It really suits a square crop because I'm homing in on such a small area. But what a great area it is, it really is. You know, it's such a small area. I think there's only 3 or 4 of these yew trees left, but you could explore around these trees for a good amount of time, coming up with some lovely abstract shots. So if you're ever in an area and you're not bothered about the wider vistas, look in close and see what you can capture. So I'll get back, get this shot, and I hope you like it. So I've turned my attention away from those lovely yew trees for the time being, and I've made my way over to another one that was over to my left hand side. But I noticed this stone wall, what remains here. It's obviously been flattened over time with the weather fronts coming in, and it's coated in these lovely mosses. I always like those mosses, but where the side of the rock on my side is where it's sheltered, there's a certain part of this rock that grabbed my attention because of the lighter shade of green. It's either colour or light that always attracts, and I've noticed in the centre there's some darker areas with colour there. I've said to you in the past, when you go in with the longer focal length, it really pinpoints these details that you don't really see with the human eye. There's oranges in there, there's browns, there's greens, there's just a lot of interest that I want to capture and I want to show you within this image. So I'm actually in at nearly 380 mil, so I've got in really close on this detail, and I'll be able to show you what I can capture. There's blues in there. Now to look from here, it just looks green and parts of it are orange, but you can't see that finer detail, so that's what I want to capture. I think it'll make a nice square crop again. Now because I'm using the A7R4, I am taking advantage of the aspect ratio that you can pick, so I've chosen the square crop, and it really gives us a good idea of what I'm going to be seeing when I crop it when I get back home in post, because it discards the distractions that I don't want to be looking at. I really just want to concentrate on that smaller area. The surface area is really flat, so I only need to take one shot. I don't have to worry about focus stacking this image. Now the area that I'm in, it's hard to pull myself away because I love finding those different shots in areas that people walk all the time. We've got glorious mountains around us, but a lot of those mountains have been photographed many times, so coming to the same location that everyone else comes and coming away with something different is always a goal of mine. So always bear that in mind when you come to iconic locations that have been photographed many times before. Put a longer focal length on, look in close, and come away with different images to what everyone else comes away with. So I'm going to get back, get this shot, and I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed that last image. I thought it was a great example of showing you how you can find colour going in closer with a longer focal length. There was blues in there, there was oranges, there was greens, and it just made for a nice image. I thought, a nice abstract image. I'm still around this area where these beautiful yew trees are, forgetting about those landscapes for the time being, really making the most of my time in this area because it will be some time till we'll be able to come back again. We've got some natural light coming in here from underneath this yew tree, and what that's doing is it's casting some light across the surface of this bark, of this branch that's leading off this tree. Now, I was really attracted to the knots. There's lots of details on this part of the branch. We've got bark that still remains, we've got bark that's missing, so where the bark's missing it's a lot lighter, and with that light coming in it's helping with the contrast, and it gives it some body as well. You know, you can really see into those knots on the side of the tree, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going in at 180mm with 1:400 and picking the area with the most interest, and the light, the way the light looks on the back camera is really nice because it's light to the right hand side, and as it goes over towards the left it gets a bit darker, so it really creates some nice contrast and colour there. So I'm going to get this shot and I'll put it on the screen above. I'm not sure if I'll get another image here. I might take a walk. I've spent quite a long time here, but I hope you've enjoyed the image that I've been able to capture amongst these beautiful yew trees. So I'll get back, get this shot, and I hope you like it. So I'm actually making my way up this side of the mountainside here. I'm on the way to the waterfall. Now, whether I make it to the waterfall, I'm not sure. It depends how much more light we've got, because you kind of forget when it's winter time, those days are a lot shorter. So things can be a bit more rushed, and I didn't want to rush over there. I wanted to explore it and see what images I could come across. Now, as I've been coming up this part of the hillside here, I was looking at the details in the snow and the grasses, and I was looking down at my feet and I came across this area where the grasses underneath the snow are flattened, but there's a nice contrast there with the snow on top. So you've got certain areas where you can see like the snow crystals, but you've got the green of the grasses underneath, and I just think it looks really nice. The fact that the grasses are nice and flat, the colours merge together nicely, and you've got the contrast with the snow. So I'm overexposing by one stop because we are photographing the snow, and I want the snow to be nice and white. ISO 250, that's giving us 1/20th of a second. Levelled off the tripod, you'll be able to see how I've got really above what I'm photographing. The ground's nice and flat, and we'll see how this shot works out. Make my way up this hillside, see if I can catch up with Paul and Adrian before we lose any of that light, and see if I can grab another shot up at the waterfall. So I'll put this shot on the screen above, and I hope you like it. Well, I guess I should welcome you back. It is day 2. Now, I did go up to see Paul up by the waterfall, but like I was saying, because the days are a lot shorter, we lost a lot of that light. Now, we didn't get any really good light on that day, so going for those smaller vignettes really worked out great. So what we're going to do, we're just going to have a look around this area before we move on. I might see if I can capture some vignettes of the light falling on the landscape. There's some lovely details there and patterns, so we'll see how it gets on. So I'll carry on with the rest of today's video. So we've made our way further down the valley, and we've just been walking along some trails here. Came across this lovely bridge. What a beautiful bridge it is, with a waterfall there. So we want to try for a couple of images before we move on any further. And there's a couple of distractions in this image, so we've just got to work around it. And that's the key thing with getting the camera off the tripod. Going in all different positions, trying different focal lengths. We've got a tree here that you can see in front of us to the right hand side. It's actually obscuring the view of the bridge, so what I'm doing is getting to the right hand side of that tree as much as I can to discard it, because it is a distraction, and include as much of this bridge as I can. Below us to the right hand side there is actually a water pipe, so I've got to be aware of that. The waterfall, it's not a raging torrent, but it's really nice. But the main focus point and the main thing that grabbed my attention was the bridge itself. So that's the main feature of the image that I want to capture. And the waterfall in the background, it's just going to be an added bonus. It's not going to be very big in the frame because there's not a lot of water running. But the fact that it's just going to be settled nicely in the background beyond this beautiful bridge, I think it will work out really well. Now I'm trying it at 35mm. Now what I'm trying to do is get rid of as much of the area to the right hand side that you can see there as you lead onto the bridge, because it creates a bit of dead space. So I'm getting further back with the camera, trying to angle it so I get all of the bridge in, the entrance to the bridge, the edge of the bridge to the far side, so you can actually see the centre, and part of the bridge where it leads off, and that's what I'm going to go for. I think it's a beautiful shot. There's lots of green mosses, and I just think it'll make for a great image. So I'm going to get back, get this shot, but what a beautiful location. So we've came back up to Honister Pass after a good time down there, and to see what the light's like. Paul's headed further along, I'm not sure where he's gone. but I've came across a part of ice on this rock here that caught my eye actually as I was heading just behind us there. So I've come back the way, and because I've come back the way, you can actually see through the ice more of what I was looking for down by Bodderdale Valley there. Now because I've came the opposite way, obviously the light's different and you can actually see through the ice, and there's some lovely forms and shapes. But along with that, where you've got the outline of the rock underneath, it's really white and it really stands out against the dark of the rock, and it creates some lovely patterns. 280mm, really getting close with that detail and bringing out those lovely highlights that's on the edge of the rock that's within that ice there. I'm underexposing by one stop. Got some nice darks and some nice highlights. It's really bringing that out, so some nice contrast there. 1/10 of a second, ISO 100, and that's it. Now might get some light later on, I'm not so sure. I'm going to get a couple of shots here, catch up with Paul. So I've actually crossed the valley now. I'm on the opposite side. It's blown a gale here, so I've made my way up the trail, crossed over to the other side of the valley to this viewpoint here. Now Paul's at the other side. I did have a look at the other side, but the mountains look a bit flat. There's not much shape to them there. So I find that the mountains that I've got behind us here, and especially the viewpoint, because the sun's setting towards that direction there, I just think they've got more character and more shape. And we've also, you know, got the lake down there as well. So if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It's always great to hear your thoughts on my video along with my images, and it's always a pleasure to be able to bring you along. I've been back home in the UK now for nearly 3 weeks, thoroughly enjoyed it, but I am going to be heading back to Canada. I've got a few new ideas for this coming year in 2023, so stay tuned for that. But from me in the Lake District back here in the UK, until next time, thanks for watching. Bye bye.